Hello, Dahi here from Timestep Softworks. Welcome to the 21st development video for Vigilantes, and which will cover the work which has been carried out to date on Alpha 9. The largest single change for Alpha 9 is the addition of the first interior level in the game. And this will effectively allow you to kind of attack various compounds belonging to the different gangs. And I'll just give you a quick look around the level here. You can possibly guess what's going on here. Another thing is the addition of a new character. He's, the church. This is a Church of the Final Exodus, and this character is the Fanatic, and he's sort of like a leader, kind of a low-level leader character, who's basically used to keep the basic troops in line. He has a couple other tricks up his sleeve. I won't spoil them. I'll let you see them yourself when you try out the alpha. I've also worked on an issue with the reachable tile display here. Now it was quite intermittent and occasional, but there was an issue where it wasn't always showing the correct tiles that you could move to. Now, based on testing so far, I believe this issue has been fixed now, so it should always display the correct tiles going forward. I've done a little work on the status effects too. I don't think none of these characters have a status effect, but I'm going to work it slightly differently for enemies and the player. If your character, one of your player characters, has a status effect, I think what I'm going to do is put the icons along here, and then if you mouse over them, it'll give you a tooltip to say what this is, what the particular status effect is and how it affects you. For the enemies, I think probably from the point of view of space and how the game works, I'm probably just going to put icons in below where you see Brother Cole there, but from seeing the icons on the player and being able to figure out what they are from there, it should be relatively easy to remember what all of them are, and they're kind of appropriate to what they represent. So I think that's probably how I'm going to take care of the status effects for now. I've also done a little more work on the quality settings. Now, if you've seen the options menu, you'll probably notice that there's definitely an attempt here to accommodate a wide range of hardware. So I just don't want it to be restricted to people with kind of new hardware, that only they can play the game. So I've been trying to make it in such a way that you can kind of if you have older hardware, you can run the game. If you have newer hardware, you can turn up the options and get a bit better visual quality from it. So the new addition is lighting quality. Now, if you look in this scene here, you can see there's kind of like an overall red light in the scene, and then there's a number of smaller blue lights. So lighting is actually quite it's fairly intensive on performance, especially on slightly older hardware. So limiting the number of lights is kind of like a basic thing, a basic strategy for allowing more people to be able to play it, or to be playable on more hardware. So that's the highest quality setting. If I lower it now to the medium setting and save the changes, you'll notice that the blue lights are now gone. So this basically reduces the number of lights in the area to 1, and it still looks reasonably good, I think. It's not quite as detailed. So that will have a reasonable performance effect, and there's one more level, and that will actually disable the main light in the scene. And I'll use a simpler type of lighting, and that's what that looks like. It's not quite as good, and I think possibly this lighting maybe needs to be increased a little. If I'm doing that, I need to increase the the basic lighting level a bit higher. But there should, if you're running on 3 or 4 year, maybe kind of mid-range gaming, or I suspect you probably should, if you've something like a first generation i5 with 4 gigs of RAM and a 460, I think you should be able to max everything probably, and probably get 60 FPS. If you're running on something older, there are all these settings which you can turn down to make it run at a decent frame rate on your computer. And that's pretty much it for this update. Alpha 9 may be in a week, or it may be in 2 weeks. It'll probably be somewhere between the two, just depending on how much additional work I try to do, or how big the update is. So that's pretty much it for this video. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you again.